the first DC native to purchase a hotel downtown. Seems like it's taken a long time for this to happen, don't you think?
Yes, yes, it has, but we're dreamers, you know, just a dreamer that believes and have confidence and take risks. You have a view of the Capitol to my left and the monument. Super excited how we've just reimagined what used to just be a pool in a fitness room.
It's a time of transition in the city.
Absolutely, yeah, super excited about that, and hopefully we get a Super Bowl here, the NFL draft. I'm excited about the future of DC.
I've always been fascinated by trailblazers, the people, places, and moments that change everything. Those who chase their passions and forge new paths that transform their lives and the lives of others. They are determined that while they may be the first to accomplish something, they won't be the last. I'm Leslie Foster. Join me for The First as we uncover the groundbreaking stories of those who dared to lead the way. Washington, D.C. is in the middle of a transformation. New stadiums, new arenas, a whole city being rebuilt. And one man, Evans Charles of Frontier Development,
All right, let's check it out.
a son of the city, intends to be part of what rises.
Evans, before we get into how we got here, can we just sit here for a moment? Have you had a moment to take in this first in the city that made you?
We made this investment about a year and a half ago, and during the grand opening is when it really hit me to celebrate with family and friends the first deal that I've done in my hometown, literally blocks from where I grew up. And as a little kid, playing Monopoly and dreaming one day that I would do something special and not knowing exactly what that is.
Did you buy the hotels with your Monopoly money when you
Well,
played?
I traded in my 4 homes for a hotel. So
Yeah.
I literally was investing in small residential houses, and that's how I first got into the hotel business.
Washington, D.C. has a long history of using sports as a catalyst. The MCI Center reviving Gallery Place in the 90s. Nationals Park anchoring the Capitol Riverfront in the 2000s. Audi Field transforming Southwest. Now the city is running all of it at once. A $3.7 billion stadium rising where RFK once stood. An $800 million arena transformation reshaping downtown. And a waterfront district taking shape along the Anacostia. The question this city has never fully answered through all of its rebuilding is, who gets to own a piece of what rises? For Evans Charles, that question is personal. He grew up here in Petworth during the crack epidemic.
It was a very tough environment, you know, just being an African-American male. I think the stats were 1 out of 3 were, you know, incarcerated or caught up into, you know, gun violence. So I've seen a lot of that around me, a lot of friends, a lot of people I knew on a first name basis that are no longer here. I'll never forget just being grateful that I made it to 21. That's how much death I saw around me. So it was pretty tragic. And I was just anxious to really leave DC at the time.
So you said 1 in 3 had a real chance of making it out. What was the difference for you?
Single mom. My mom was a disciplinarian, you know, Haitian mom. Put me in Catholic school at an early age or so. Cherished education and stayed on me. But at the same time, my coaches were my male father figures or so that really instilled discipline in me. And I think discipline is real key to success. And I knew I wanted something better. Just seeing the results of paths that other people took and saying to myself, I don't want that to be my reality.
So sports, football for you wasn't just a pastime. It was a path forward.
Oh, 100%. That early experience of teamwork really also set the foundation even today, even as I build a team with employees and business partners and investors.
So this was your vision?
Yes.
To have a homegrown hotel, hiring homegrown people.
Absolutely.
And putting your mark down in the community that made you.
Absolutely, absolutely. In addition to that, I mean, we're standing in the lobby of what used to be the Cambria Hotel or so. We envisioned this whole new decor it's very refreshing to just be able to give opportunities, particularly to local DC natives that grew up like me, that looks like me. So that's something that, that just warms my heart.
So there's a pretty legendary story here. You go to Temple University, you decide you're gonna try out, you're gonna walk on, you need scholarship funds. How does that all come together?
It was a tremendous sacrifice, but then I just got entrenched into and focused like that I'm going to earn a position on this team. And I was very fortunate my junior year to beat out the starter, and my coach awarded me that scholarship. And that was a moment where I actually shedded tears of joy. I don't know if I've ever experienced that level of emotion, because I understood if I went back to DC, what that could have turned out to be. So it just felt like I was free.
At age 24, Evans Charles earned 2 degrees from Temple University and a scholarship he had to fight for himself. But it wasn't a professor or playbook that pointed him toward his future.
So you got 2 degrees when you left Temple University. And this is also where you start to build your real estate career. When did you realize that you actually wanted to do something real estate?
That didn't happen until after grad school. My undergraduate degree was psychology. So at first I was pre-med. I thought I was going to become a psychiatrist. I changed my mind after taking chemistry. It's the hardest class I ever took. I wasn't a good standardized test taker, so I didn't get into the sports administration program I want to get into. So my mentor introduced me to the head of the education department. I had no interest in education, but he got me in. So I just got a degree in elementary education. So here I am with these degrees, don't know what I want to do. And it wasn't until speaking to my landlord, who started speaking to me about residual income. He was in the low income neighborhoods where he owned all this real estate and he was collecting rent every month. And it just, the light bulb went off in my head, and I said, wow, you know, you do something one time and you continue to get paid over and over and over again, where everyone else is trying to exchange time for money, time for money. That's how I was trained in school. At that moment, I just went to the bookstore and just started buying books and educating myself. I declared that I wanted a career in real estate. I'll never forget that morning.
And so you purchased your first real estate property in Philly.
Yes. I think I was about 25 years old. It was like a neighborhood that was selling for like $80,000 homes, middle class homes in Philadelphia. I know that sounds really low, but this was at the time in Philly. And I bought a foreclosure for $30,000. That I only came out of pocket $1,000 to buy. And I used my credit card, bought materials at Home Depot, and I recruited cheap labor from the neighborhood, right? And I fixed it up. It was all cosmetic, and then I sold it. 6 months later, I saw $25,000, and at the time, I was making $24,000 a year. So I, in one check, I saw what I made an entire year. I didn't touch it as relates to in buying anything material. I reinvested 100% of it into my next deal, but then that's when I said to myself, this is what I'm gonna do.
So you're establishing yourself in Philadelphia, but the call from home is still in you. There's a point where you say, DC raised me, and now I'm gonna raise the city back. Oh yeah.
I'm a walking commercial for Washington, D.C. I was always pro DC, everywhere I went, anywhere in the country or so. And I was always looking forward to coming back home, you know, but again, there was some years where I just didn't feel it was the right time. And then in 2012 is when I moved back to DC, and I've said that I'm never leaving. Like I love it here.
So what's it like to try to build out your dream in a city where it took you 10 years to land a deal, despite having this pretty national track record at the time?
Well, if you think about DC as a gateway city, it's the nation's capital. A lot of international and institutional capital is invested throughout, you know, especially downtown DC. So it's not easy for an individual or regional person to come and own a commercial property of this magnitude. There was another property I came this close to buying. It's currently now the Eaton Hotel. That was in 2013. So I was really, really close. Some international folks bought it from China, right? But my point is, it's not easy to get into, especially hospitality, because there's only so many neighborhoods you can put a hotel. So if you want to be downtown, there's just only but so many opportunities. So landing this was just, was a dream come true. So we're on the 8th floor of the Hyatt House, and I'm gonna walk you into one of our suites.
Let's do it.
Awesome.
All right, let's check it out.
This was formerly Cambria Suites, so it was an all-suite product. We wanted to get into the extended stay sector, so we literally added all these kitchenettes to it. So we ran plumbing, we ran electric, and now this is set up for people to stay 30 plus days at a time.
Wow.
So this has a fridge, microwave, cooktop, dishwasher, glassware, dishes. There's a giant right below us or so. So it's really set up for people who need to stay long-term. We're one of the closest to Howard University, medical, long-term government contracts. Transient as well too, but we're an extended stay property. Here you have a pull-out couch. We have a lot of families that come here because of the larger space, and then also the fact that we provide complimentary breakfast or so. We have king beds, and in some rooms we have the doubles. 50-inch, highly interactive, smart televisions. It's a cozy room.
Yeah, you want comfort if you're staying for a while, right?
That's right. I think I have a completely different level of pride here. It's just not an investment, for me. It's just not, I'm just looking at a P&L statement every month and seeing what kind of returns that I'm getting or so. I mean, here, we're changing lives, we're giving people opportunities.
Walk us through this deal. How did this come together, and how was it different from some of the other deals that you've done?
It was put on the market. I wasn't even aware of it. And it was put on the market, and they were unable to sell it for the price that they wanted. So then what they did about 6 or 7 months later was they went back to their broker and they said, hey, just go talk to a small group of people, because they discounted the price. And I was just calling this broker just to check on him and see how he was doing. And he just said, hey, I'm only talking to 3 groups about this property. And I said, well, how fast can I get up to speed and be able to make an offer or so? So because I had a relationship with him, he invited me into the process. I had a different business plan than what everyone else was doing, and I got super hungry and I got aggressive, and we made an offer. But then I also needed the broker to vouch for us, because we're not one of these New York-based private equity shops that everybody know of. To tie up a deal and actually sign a deal with an unknown entity, you got to be sure that that person can actually execute. So they vouched for us, and we were able to execute.
You say we because you have a business partner.
Yes.
Who is also from DC, who also believes in pouring back into this community as well. So you couldn't do it alone.
Oh, no. And I have to give a shout out at this particular moment to my big equity partner. Her name is Tammy Jones, an African-American woman who owns a private equity firm in New York City. And she backs like qualified, other minority, sponsors like me or so. And she's been backing me since 2014. So she's just somebody I'm just extremely grateful for, and I always want to give her flowers.
Isn't that what it takes sometimes? You need not just somebody who says, I like Evans.
Oh, yeah.
I want to invest in Evans because I believe in his potential and what he can do.
That's right, 100%.
What's next? Hill East, a historic community, a brand new stadium, and a DC native with a vision and a plan. In 2025, Evans Charles didn't just buy a hotel. He built a gathering place for a city that raised him. The rooftop bar and lounge, branded as Realm, is where Charles poured his identity into the walls.
So what was Realm before it was Realm?
So this was just a exit-only door, first floor for the Cambria guests. So when I realized that the elevator came to this level and went all the way up to the roof, we said that this is unique, where you do not have to go through the hotel, and we can actually do a separate branding of the rooftop. So we created this entry space, and we've separately branded it, and I'd love to take you through it.
Let's see it.
it's a different dimension. It's a world within a world. So we just wanted to create something really just special and unique. This is the entrance where you would come in and you would check in with the hostess that will be here to greet you with a smile. And you know, if you have reservations or if you're here for a special event or so, they'll check you in and then they'll call for the elevator, and we'll have it where the elevator can shoot you straight up to the roof, and you never even know you're in the Hyatt House.
Wow.
Take you straight up where you don't even have interruptions.
So you have no idea you're here at Hyatt House?
Not at all. As you can see, you come through that entrance, this elevator comes right up, and yeah, you're just here at Realm. That's all you know.
You've talked about bringing cultural vibrancy back to DC. I can see it from where we sit here.
Oh, yeah.
But can you tell me how that shows up here at the Hyatt Place?
There's two distinct brands. Hyatt Place is the hotel, and where we're sitting is branded as Realm. The public knows this as Realm. People come in and don't even realize that they're part of the Hyatt House. This was a Cambria hotel, and it had a swimming pool that was closed since COVID and a fitness room. And when I came up here and I saw these panoramic views, and on this side you can see the Capitol and the monument, and it has this beautiful exterior deck, and I just felt like this was underutilized space. And I've traveled all over the world. You know, I've been to major gateway cities everywhere, and I've frequented restaurants, I've frequented rooftops, I've frequented, you know, a lot of places. And I just said to myself, I want to do something special that is unlike anything else in DC. And we hired just some top designers, and we went in and we looked at every single rooftop in DC, and we said, okay, this is what all of them look like, and we don't want to look like any of them. The wall vinyl to the lighting to the ceilings to, I mean, everything. We really made a big investment in this space, and we're looking forward this to being a different type of gathering location for Washingtonians.
When I think about the cultural vibrancy that you've been talking about and the experience, how is that in the DNA of the full experience from start to finish here at Hyatt Place?
So from our culinary director, who's has Caribbean roots like I do, right? I have Haitian roots. The cuisine here is tastefully done with some Caribbean infusion, you know, integrated into it or so. And I think we've become a rooftop that has really good quality food. The music, the vibe, that it's just a different type of experience. And it's not a club, it's far more of a like a dinner party.
So I know that Realm here is your baby within the baby.
Yes.
But you do have something else that tugs at your heart, and that, of course, is fatherhood.
Oh my goodness.
Have a 4-year-old daughter.
Yes.
And as someone who grew up without a father in the home, this has also been part of your calling.
There's nothing more important to me than being a father. There's no deal, there's nothing that I would prioritize over my daughter. I just enjoy pouring into her and seeing her evolve every single day. It's just, it brings me more joy than anything else right now in my life.
Have you thought about the generational impact that you're building for your daughter as well?
Oh, that's every day. Every day. It's all about legacy for me. I'm already planting the seeds. She's already telling me that the name of her hotel is going to be the Sparkly Hotel.
Oh.
You know, yeah. When she was really young, I had my nanny came to my office with me, so she actually would come to the office with me and just see me at work. Stuff that, you know, as kids, when our parents go away to work, we just never know what that's like, right? So I'm hopeful that what she's being exposed to in this professional setting is just going to instill something in her. But I think the greatest joy and greatest success in my life would be just having her grow up to be someone who is just kind, you know, great, loving, and just a phenomenal human being. How you doing today? You doing all right?
Fantastic, doing great. Sounds good.
Awesome.
We're fully occupied today, so it's really,
Awesome.
it's a good day.
Okay.
It sounds like you are becoming the village for other people that those folks were for you.
Yes.
So you're creating not just for your daughter, but for this entire community
Absolutely.
that poured so much into your success.
Absolutely. I serve as a mentor to many. I have an endowed scholarship in my name that's targeting underserved, students from DC and other urban environments or so.
At Temple.
At Temple. So the Fox Business School and then the School of Hospitality, Tourism and Management. So every year we pick two applicants for the scholarship, and just looking forward to just doing so much more to help, as you said earlier, raise the city that raised me.
You call your company Frontier Development. So what's the next frontier for Frontier?
We are super excited about Hill East. So Hill East was a public-private partnership deal that was put out by the Bowser administration back in 2021, and we were fortunate to be selected. And then later on, the deal with the Commanders happening right across from the old RFK site. So we're literally right on Independence Avenue, literally right across the street from where the new stadium is going to be built. We're bringing 1,100 units over 3 phases of residential, affordable, mixed income to market rate. We're bringing hospitality. We want to do a round 2 over there. Retail, 65,000 square feet of retail. We're bringing townhomes, condos. So we're building an entire community along the waterfront. So me seeing what the wharf used to be when I was growing up, or the Navy Yard, or the Georgetown waterfront, and understanding that now that whole Hill East area is just next, and what DC is going to become is extremely exciting, and we get to be on the forefront of that, developing that in that area.
If there's a kid right now growing up in DC in the neighborhoods where you came from that can't see beyond the borders, how do you inspire them to surpass what you've already done?
Well, I think the first thing is serving as an example. As a kid, I didn't see examples. So if you can't see it, you can't achieve it. Don't believe it, you can't achieve it or so, right? I'm an example that it could be done. But in addition to just serving as an example, I feel that I have a duty to also interact and mentor and give back and educate, right? So that's just something that I am extremely excited about, and hopefully it can cultivate some new talent that can surpass what I'm doing with other folks.
Well, I thank you so much for your time and for not just focusing on the next frontier for Frontier, but for helping other young people discover their passions too.
Oh yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Evans Charles grew up in a city that was written off, in a neighborhood that lost too many of its own. He left not to escape it, but to come back and change it. Today, the first DC native to purchase a downtown hotel has an endowed scholarship at Temple University bearing his name, a rooftop that bears his culture, a waterfront development that will reshape a community, and a daughter watching all of it. Washington, D.C. has always been a city of power. Now, one of its own is building power from the inside out.